My wife has abused my trust. Joey, can I ask you what I think is a stupid question? Sure, if you don't mind stupid answers. No, Joey. I mean, the question will sound stupid, but I really want to know the answer. Okay, Amy, ask it. Do all Latinos have a huge amount of dignity? Jesus, Amy, how would I know that? Well, you played sports in high school and college and were in the Army for 3 years, so I know you've been in a lot of showers with other men. Yeah, but I didn't spend time in those showers measuring dignity. But surely you must have noticed something? Sorry, babe, but measuring isn't my thing. What is it anyway? Judy says that Hispanic men have more dignity than other men. Well, that's it. What does that cheater know, if anything? She's not a cheater, Joey. She's had 4 husbands, all of whom divorced her for infidelity. Joey, she's still my best friend, so please don't talk about her like that when you're around me. I wondered if Amy would say that if she knew how many times Judy had tried to get me into her bed. A few days passed, and one day at dinner, Amy asked, "Can I ask you a really big favor?" I guess so. What do you want? Next time you go to the gym to work out a couple times, could you watch a couple Latinos for me? Good God, Amy, what is wrong with you that you're suddenly talking about this? I just want to find out if Judy's right. Why? Because I'm curious. You know me, Joey, I'm a screaming liberal. I march with a placard and protest at any hint of injustice. I've always said everyone's the same. Now Judy's telling me I'm wrong. I don't want to believe Judy. We should all be the same, no matter what color our skin is. I need to know Joey, and I can't go and find out for myself. Please, Joey, I'm not asking you to bring a tape measure. Just take a quick look and tell me what you see. She coaxed me all through dinner and dessert. And finally, I broke down and told her I'd see what I could see. Of course, I didn't mean it that way. There was no way I was going to try to size up my dignity in the shower room. But even though I wasn't going to peek in the shower, I tried to find an answer for her. One of my good friends at work is Latino, and I offered to buy him lunch if he would answer a few silly personal questions. I told him about what was going on with Amy and bluntly asked him if it was true. I wish I had $1 for every woman who asked that question, but the answer is no. If you randomly pick 500 whites and 500 Hispanics, you're likely to find the same statistical spread in each group. Your wife's friend is probably only seeing that because that's what she's looking for. That night when I got home, Amy asked me if I'd seen anything she'd be interested to know about. I told her I had seen something, but was going to observe for a week or so to get a good sample. I went to the gym 7 times over the next 2 weeks, and on the 7th day when I got home, I told her that statistically there was no difference between men, at least in the area of dignity. I saw the relief on her face and said, "Keep fighting injustice, liberal lady, knowing that we are all just men." A few months passed, and I began to notice a few things. Amy seemed quieter and spent a lot of time looking off into the distance somewhere. We didn't talk at the dinner table as much as we used to. And a couple times I'd come home from work and find her lying on her bed crying. When I would ask what was wrong, she would simply reply that she wasn't feeling well. Our sex life began to wane, from 5 or 6 times a week to 4, then 2 or 3, then 2 weeks without sex, and always the same answer. "I just don't feel well, Joey." One night I came home from work and found a note on the kitchen table. "Joey, I love you. I really, really love you. But I can't live with you anymore. I'm sorry, Amy." In a frenzy, I called her mother, brother, 2 sisters, and everyone else I could think of to see if anyone knew where she might be. But no one knew anything. Finally, I remembered Judy. I called her and she said, "She's here, Joey, but she won't talk to you." Why? She has her reasons. Not the best ones from what I understand, but they seem to suit her. What is going on, Judy? She can't just walk away from me without saying a word, without explaining what's wrong. What did I do? You didn't do anything, Joey. She did, and it's killing her. Come on, Judy, tell me what is going on. Look, Joey, I like you a lot. I think you're one of the good guys, but I can't tell you anything. You'll have to find out from her. But I'll tell you what, and don't you dare let her know you found out from me, but she's planning on going to the house tomorrow to get some clothes while you're at work. The next morning, I called from the street phone, got out and drove the car a block away, then went back inside and waited. It was a long wait, and I was beginning to think Judy had given me bad information when Amy's car pulled into the driveway. I moved so that she couldn't see me until she got into the house and I was between her and the door. Amy walked through the front door and went straight up the stairs to our bedroom. I gave her a moment and then followed her. I entered the room, closed the door, sat on the floor with my back to her, and waited to be seen. Amy came out of the closet with an arm full of clothes and turned to throw them on the bed. And that's when she saw me. "What are you doing here?" "I live here." "That's not what I mean. You're supposed to be at work." "I wasn't feeling well, so I called in sick." "Did you call the doctor?" "It's not that it's not feeling well. I got some news last night that left me discouraged." "I see," she said, turned and threw on her clothes. "What's going on here, Amy?" "Please, Joey, I don't want to talk about it." "Unfortunately for you, Amy, I do, so you're going to have to do it whether you want to or not." "Joey, please go away. Don't make this any harder than it has to be." "I'm not leaving, Amy. Not until I know what's wrong, and neither are you. There are only two ways out of this room, through the window or through the door. So unless you plan on jumping out of a second-story window, the only way out is through the door, and I'm not moving until you talk." "Please, Joey, I don't want to talk about it. It will only make it worse." "Worse for who, Amy? How can it be worse for me than it already is? The woman I love walks out on me without saying a word, and I'm supposed to sit here with an overactive imagination and try to figure out why? I'm supposed to sit here, staring at the walls and thinking things like maybe you left me for another man? Did you leave me for another woman? Or did you not leave me for anyone else, but just can't stand me anymore? Then I could go quite far and imagine you at Judy's having sex." And as I said this, I saw Amy flinch. "Exactly. I can see by the look on your face that you are. Judy has totally screwed you up. That's why our sex life is dead. You get everything you need from Judy. That's probably the real reason you're interested in the size of Hispanic men's dignity, right? You tried to talk yourself into trying a couple, and silly me was your wingman. Are you leaving me for one man or a whole herd? Have you become a cheater like Judy? Never mind. I don't want to know the answer to that question." I got up off the floor and left the room. As I walked down the stairs, I heard Amy call out to me, "Wait, Joey, don't go." But I continued down the stairs and walked out of the house. I got in my car and drove to work. I hadn't been there an hour when I got a call from Judy. "You asshole, what did you do to her? She's in here crying and she can't stop." "Hey, lady, how come I'm the bad guy? I came home and found out she left me. I was in the house when she came over, but she didn't want to talk to me, so I left the house and came to work. Does that make me an asshole?" "Okay, then I'm sorry for calling you an asshole. She didn't start talking?" "Not a word." "It's not my place to do that, but if she won't, then I'll have to. Buy me lunch at Anton's and I'll tell you everything." When I arrived, she was already there, and as I approached the table, I thought, and not for the first time, about how sexy she looked. I suppose it might have had something to do with her being such a man-hungry cheater. If you were hit on as often as she was, it would probably be easy to get sex as often as you wanted. She had already ordered drinks, and when I sat down, one of them was already waiting for me. She pointed at it and said, "You need to hurry up, honey. I'm already third, and you may have to catch up with me. If you have a couple drinks, you'll feel better." I took a sip of the drink and set it aside. "No games, Judy. Just tell me what is going on." "You haven't heard my terms yet, darling. Do you want to know it bad enough to take me home with you and have sex with me?" "Yes, I really want to know, but no, I don't. Is that what this little meeting is about? Are you trying to get me into bed?" "No, dear, but you can't blame a girl for trying. I've always wanted to know what's so special about you that Amy never keeps quiet about you. Maybe you should ask her now that she doesn't care anymore. Don't even think about that for a minute, honey. Amy loves you as much now as she ever did. She just can't look you in the eye. Your wife was bad, honey, really, really bad, and now she's tormented by her conscience. She betrayed you, and the thought of having to look you in the eye every day after what she did tears her apart. She's managed to convince herself that you'll be better off without her around. And what was so bad that she did? She slept with a guy, and not just once, but several times, and with more than one guy. Amy? Yes, honey. Amy had sex with 7 different guys over the course of 3 days, and when it was over, she hated herself for being so weak and abusing your trust, and now she's berating herself for it. You let that happen to her? No, honey. I just didn't stop her. Why should I have? I thought she wanted it. I thought she'd wanted it for a long time, but I wasn't going to do it until you did it first. I'm sorry, but that's where you lost me. Honey, I'm a man-hungry cheater, and you know it. I make no apologies, honey. I am who I am, and what's more, I like being who I am. Amy is my best friend, and I've known her a lot longer than I've known you. Do you really think, given how close I am to Amy, that I would try to hit on her husband behind her back? No way, honey. Amy set me up on you and let me go. I don't believe you. Believe it or not, darling, it's still the truth. Do you know that your wife thinks you're a bit of a tightwad? I asked her once what was so good about being married to you, and she told me, exactly said, "Why don't you take him to bed and see for yourself? He could use some relaxation." I asked, "Do you mind?" And she said, "No, girlfriend. It will only be sex, and I know he loves me." That's when I started picking on you and honestly thought that what she really wanted was a chance to go out and play wild for a while, but she needed you to get laid so she could have an excuse. Turns out I was wrong. She genuinely thought you needed to loosen up a bit and wanted her best friend to do it, not some stranger. So when Amy relaxed, I figured she was just tired of waiting for you to start first and didn't do anything to stop her. So what exactly did she do? It happened while I was out of town on a 4-day business trip, and just after I had given Amy the dignity report. She and Judy spent the day shopping, then went to a restaurant and had a few drinks, and then went back to Judy's place and had a few more. Then Judy suggested that Amy go home, and Amy asked why Judy was in a hurry to get rid of her. Judy replied that Tyrone, her current boyfriend, would be arriving in about 30 minutes, and she didn't think Amy would want to be around when Judy had sex with him. This led to a conversation about dignity size, and Amy told Judy about my little research. Judy told Amy that I didn't know what I was talking about. We talked some more, drank some more, and suddenly Tyrone showed up and Judy pulled him into the conversation. He, of course, said he did. A couple more drinks, and then Judy said she would settle the matter once and for all, and made some phone calls. An hour later, 5 Hispanics came to Judy's house, and Judy had them all strip and stand in front of Amy. Amy sat on the couch, shifting from foot to foot and shaking her head in amazement. Judy took Tyrone's hand and led him into the bedroom, and when they came out 20 minutes later, they were just in time to see one man having sex with Amy and another waiting his turn. Judy had no idea how Amy had let it happen, but it was obvious that no one had forced Amy. The men picked Amy up in their arms and carried her to the bedroom, and then she and Judy spent the rest of the night taking turns. The next morning, Judy woke up to Amy crying, torn with guilt, upset about what had happened and not understanding how she could face me again. To cheer Amy up, Judy took her shopping again, and again they went into the lounge for a drink, only this time they stayed there until closing time, and Judy let 2 Hispanic men pick them up. Judy had intended to drop Amy off at our house and then take the 2 men back to her place, but as they pulled up to our house, one of the guys asked if he could use the restroom. They had a drink or two and then all ended up in bed together. In the morning, Amy said, "Well, I messed up my marriage and my life, but at least I was able to disprove one myth. Both of those guys had half as much dignity as Joey." They went shopping again, and in the evening went to Judy's, where Amy tried to drown her sorrows in alcohol. Tyrone showed up, and a little later a few other men from the first night, and it all culminated in another pawing on the bed. Amy went home the next morning, and as far as I know, she hasn't dated any more men since. I know she was a big hit with the guys, and they keep asking me to bring her back. I know some of them call her all the time and ask her out, and she always refuses. So what am I supposed to do now? Depends on what you want, darling. Are you a big enough person, and do you love her enough to forgive her? Or is this something that will always be between you and will gnaw at you if you get back together? I don't know the answer to that question, Judy. I honestly don't. Well, honey, answering that question is the first step to deciding what you're going to do. What do you think I should do? You're asking me that? Girls with 4 ex-husbands? That's like asking Attila the Hun for advice on organizing peace talks. I had a very bad 3 days. I talked to Judy every day to make sure Amy was okay, and on the 3rd day it came to me that I wouldn't have talked to Judy if I didn't care about Amy. The next step was to admit to myself that I loved her and was miserable without her, but I was also honest enough with myself to admit that I knew the answer to Judy's question. What Amy had done would always be between us, and it would always fester like a sore thorn. For 2 more days, I banged my head against the wall trying to figure out what to do. The only thing I could think of was shaky at best, but it was all I could think of. So I called Judy. Do you think what Amy wanted would work in reverse? What would work the other way around? You thought she wanted you to put me to bed and then she'd be free to play. Would it have the same effect if we went to bed now? You know, the old you did. And now I've done, and now we're even. Oh no, honey. That might work, but not with me. 6 weeks ago, I would have jumped at the opportunity and been in your bed in a heartbeat, but not now. Amy is an emotional mess, and I'm not going to risk our friendship with her over an opportunity. My only attempt, and it was rebuffed. Suddenly I realized what I had to do. This was a long shot. And if it didn't work, Amy and I would be in the past. I picked up the phone again and called Judy. Do you remember how that first night went? Yeah. I want you to take Amy shopping again. When Judy opened the door, she asked, Are you sure you want to do this? I have to do it. If I go through with it, Amy and I will die. If I go through with this, I'll have at least a 50-50 chance that we can save everything. On your head, honey, and she stepped aside, letting me inside. Did you get it? She led me into the bedroom, stepped aside, and said, See for yourself. There was Amy kneeling on the bed having sex with a Hispanic man, and 2 other men were standing by the bed watching and waiting their turn. It took a lot more drinking than I thought it would, but it all worked out. On the bed, Tyrone said, Next, get ready. I'm almost there. That'll be me, I said, starting to shed my clothes. Judy walked over to the other 2 and took their hands. Come on. I'll do you in the living room and you can come back for her later. I began to make love to my wife and then said, For the first time in my life, I'm getting sloppy seconds with my wife. She turned her head, looked at me and screamed, No, you can't see me like this. Oh God, not like this. It's too late, my crazy little cheater. I'm not leaving until I'm done with you. She kept screaming, No, 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 and tried to pull away from me. But I wasn't going anywhere until the night was over. Eventually, the no, 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 no turned into, I'm sorry, and then the I'm sorry turned into the sounds I had become accustomed to hearing over the 9 years of our marriage. From then on, until I fell asleep with no energy, I took turns fondling my wife with 3 other men. When I woke up in the morning, I heard Amy and Judy whispering, You have to do it. I can't, Amy. You know I can't. Please, Judy, do it for me, please. Someone has to do it, or I'll never feel right. He showed me that he loves me and forgives me with what he did last night, but I still have to forgive myself. I've had others, and he hasn't. Will you take care of that for me, please? What should I do? He likes to wake up from sex. Keep him here all day and all night. What are you going to do? Say, I'm going to go home and get ready for him to come. I heard footsteps leaving the room, and then I had sex with my wife's friend. That was 5 years ago, and as far as I know, since that night at Judy's, Amy hasn't touched any man but me, although sometimes when I piss her off, she'll mumble something about calling Tyrone. When she does, I just say, tell him to bring Judy with him, and things seem to calm down. 5 years ago, I wouldn't have given us a chance that we were still together, but we are, and I think our marriage is stronger than ever. Proof, at least to me, that love can find a way if you are willing to try. The end. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you.